Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the DASCAR Regional Pro Cup Series, coming at you live here at the Daytona International Speedway, part of DASCAR Speedweeks, which is a big spectacle here at the Daytona Super Speedway. So, we are back for our third season. We have 30 drivers on track, ready to battle it out for victory today. The rules are slightly different this year. We're going to have 30, as I mentioned, instead of 20 from last year, and every driver will be receiving points. The schedule shifted a little bit, but we are still following the DASCAR Phillips Cup Series schedule, and this particular race takes place the day before the Daytona 500. But with that out of the way, let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's event. John Gambit on point for this one, ran a couple races last year. Angel Navarro, Darren Blake, Mitch Brett, Grayson Acevedo, your top five. A lot of new faces in the field, some returning drivers. We also have a couple of drivers that are rookies this year that are really looking for a good effort on track. Few of those drivers on track here that are making a return. Alex Tank was one of them. Matt Jewell raced last year. Colin Bartel was season one. He's back on track. Looking even further back in the field. A lot of new drivers. Ruby in the field, adding to the diversity before I end up Lithuania. Audra Baranowski. Julian D'Artagnan Jr. in the 21 is one of two drivers that's been in it since the beginning. He rounds out the field. Coming to the line, John Gambit leads him off in the sprint machine, and we are racing for 30 laps here at Daytona. This is going to be a long race for these guys, as typically these drivers run really short sprints. But John Gambit already starting to pull to the race lead. Angel Navarro out of Mexico starting to drop back. There's Darren Blake, the Jamaican. Only one Jamaican has won in the DASCAR Regional Pro Cup Series, and that was in our first ever race. PJ Williams got the victory. But Darren Blake down to the race lead. He's starting to pull ahead with a little bit of a push from Grayson Acevedo. John Gambit starting to lose ground on the outside, and we got to pass for the lead again. The 68 of Grayson Acevedo trying to get by in the Seat. Can he get it done? He's getting by the one. William Duncan giving him a push in that number 66 machine. He owned a car in Season 1. Paul Swanson drove that machine until a horrible accident at Bayer Field. But now William Duncan is pulled into the race lead. Duncan's good at these super speedways. He's also a bit of a road racer too. A good all-around, I would say, safely. Duncan in the lead, but here comes Cody Hagan, car number 49, a veteran of the DASCAR Lights series. Back in Season 1, ran attempted the finale at Charlotte last season, but now with a full-time effort in the County Waste Machine, that car Matt Jewell drove last year. Gambit to the outside. We have to spotlight Sean Angel in the 72. He's in the field this week, but this will be his only start of the season. He is switching out to run Phillips Cup Series competition for the remainder of the schedule in John Cittadino's number 72. John Cittadino's running his last ever Phillips Cup Series 500, so he will be coming down to this division to run the remainder of this schedule. So Sean Angel moving his way up through the ranks here in DASCAR, just getting a little bit of super speedway experience on track, hoping to learn a little bit more going into the rest of the season. So he did not attempt the Daytona race for the Regional Pro Cup Series last year. We head back up toward the front. We see the 49 of Cody Hagan battling it out with William Duncan. We've got two distinct draft lines going around the course, as the 49's trying to make things happen on the inside line. See if there's any jostling for positions. Near the back, some drivers are starting to fall behind a bit. They need to make sure they catch up to the main pack, because no cautions in this series, which some may argue is a little bit dangerous for a super speedway, but we feel, unless we have something that blocks the racetrack, we feel most problems can be sorted out, especially considering the short race length. But coming to the line, William Duncan was able to lead that lap. It looks to be a two-car battle out front, unless someone could make something happen. There's Nathan Ormond in the number 39 machine right behind. That car won this race last year with Dylan Young. Young is not returning to the Regional Pro Cup Series this year, but Ormond hoping for a good showing in that car that really performed well last year. Ormond himself being a veteran of rally racing. So we'll have to look forward to him doing well, perhaps at Watkins Glen later in the year. See cars continuing to shove back and forth. It's side by side on the racetrack all the way through the field. Really, anyone had a shot here, but driver's not really making the move. Now, this race is a little bit longer than some of the other races we're going to run this year, so I think these guys may be playing it safe. You don't want to cause a big wreck early on. You want to try and, keep your cards close to your chest and stay in competition, and then maybe near the end go for a move. So right now up front, it's just been these two of Hagen and Duncan swapping positions up near the front, holding off their competitors and constituents, but I've seen Ormond kind of looking down to the inside. We look toward the back of the pack. We're focusing on Hirose in the number 76 machine. That's the team car to William Duncan, who's running near the front. The driver out of Japan, she's not having as good of a run today, but she may just be holding back. But we want to spotlight near the back of the pack here, because some of these drivers have been making some pretty heroic moves. Daniel Beauchard in that number 71 machine has been doing a lot of lane swapping, moving from top to bottom, just trying to find the right lane to go with. And I'm surprised he hasn't caused a wreck. He's been really making some diving moves. But near the back here, we have a lot of drivers that are new to the sport that really don't have that experience yet. So they're just kind of hanging out near the back, not getting too crazy out there. Just kind of learning from everyone in front of them. Heading up back into the top 10, there's the 949 of Colin Bartel making his series return. He raced in season number 1 and was a pretty decent competitor throughout the year. Almost won it at Bearfield, if I'm not mistaken, but got taken out at the midway point of that event. That race seemed almost won for him. But right now, driving the Crazy John's machine, it's good to have him back. It's been a while since we've kept tabs on Colin Bartel, so he's going to try and battle with them out front. Many of you may have noticed that some of these cars look familiar, and there is a reason for that. To save costs for the teams, a lot of these cars are recycled cars from the Phillips Cup Series. So a lot of these I noticed came from their third season. Sorry, not third season, their sixth season. So a lot of drivers running cars from the Phillips Cup Series. So it's a good transition for these drivers as they work their way up through the ranks, trying to work their way up into Phillips Cup competition. A lot of these cars, some of them, like that 01, driven by Jerry Lespool, they've gone on to win races and potentially championships, if I'm not mistaken. In the case of that 01 machine, driven by Inga Lambuliana in the DASCAR Phillips Cup Series. And speaking of, as we mentioned earlier in the show, it is the DASCAR Speedweeks here at Daytona, and it's all going to end with the Daytona 500 for the Phillips Cup Series. That's going to be on the Tasman Dutch channel. You do not want to miss it. It is going to be an excellent race, and it's going to have some crack commentary. So it's going to be a great event. I highly suggest you check that out. It should be coming out the day after the race here for the DASCAR Regional Pro Cup Series. And once again, that's on the Tasman Dutch channel. Another big notable thing for it, it'll be John Citadino's last Daytona 500 in the Phillips Cup Series before he goes to full-time DASCAR Regional Pro Cup Series action. So can he win it in his last outing? We'll just have to see. But getting back to the race in question, for the first half, it's been pretty dry out there. It's been 2 lanes and not much else. Near the back of the pack, things have been kind of shuffling about. As we mentioned, Beauchard in the 71 machine has been diving up and down the track. There's the 82 machine. They've been moving around a bit near the back. So, it's been a little bit dicey back there. Car number 88 of Jeff Toledo seems to be losing the pack a little bit. He hasn't really been able to suck up to the tail end of the field. So, I'm a little worried for him. He might end up losing the pack. Hirose is also dropping back a bit. Ben Stevens with a move to the inside lane. Car's a team car to Matt Duell, who is back for competition as well. But it's still a too wide freight train around the racetrack. No driver near the front has been able to really get an advantage on their opponents. We have a similar number of cars in each line, and with all the position swapping and whatnot near the back, that's been giving some drivers the advantage, some drivers the disadvantage. So in a sense, those drivers running back outside the top 20 may actually be having an effect on who's leading this race, which is a really interesting notion. Going down the track there, I see William Brock in the 09. He's trying to make a maneuver to the inside line, and he didn't find an open area to be able to accomplish that. William Brock ran a couple races last year, had a good showing in the finale, if I'm not mistaken. Up near the front is still that two-car battle of Hagan and Duncan. They've been shuffling it back and forth each lap. I think Duncan has led more laps, however, as that outside line's been able to get that momentum coming out of turn 4. Not many moves being made in that top 10. They've all been holding their ground, staying stationary, trying to keep it all together in this first half of the event. We'll have to see if that'll pick up in the second half. I have a feeling it might, given the way these racers race, but not sure if these drivers are just, a little worried since we have a lot of rookies in the field running in a pack. They don't want to make any too risky of a move, or maybe they're just saving their stuff, gonna make a charge at the very end. Coming down the front straightaway, we have car number 49 going, oh, there's a little bit of a battle. Car number 08, Alex Tankers, trying to make a move to work his way up into the 3rd or 4th place position. But it looks like he's going to get left out to dry on the inside line. I'm not sure if that was the best strategy to do. But hold on, wait a second. Car number 08 makes it 3 wide for 2nd place. Car number 77, where did the 08 get that speed from? He had like no draft line, and he ended up driving up to 2nd place. And what's this? Is he going for the race lead too? Hagan's going to get shuffled out of that position. Now Alex Tankers to the inside line. Tankers starting to pull ahead in that Gravely number 08. I believe that's a Ford. It's hard to see from this distance, but Alex Tanker now out in front. Can anyone challenge him? They move to the high line, him and Hagan. Here comes Nathan Orman down to the inside line. He's got DJ Curtis in the 77 giving him a push. What about Colin Bartel in the Crazy John's machine? Can he work his way into the top 5? Coming to the line, Alex Tankers out front. Hagan to the outside. Orman down low. Orman's up to 2nd right now. As the cars get back into that railroad, there's Nathan Orman trying to find some different lines, maybe getting a little bit of draft off the 08 machine to get ahead of his competitor. It's been a while since we've seen Alex Tanker in this series. He ran in Season 1 for the first half of the schedule, driving the 43 Monster Energy machine. Unfortunately, he left the ride about midway through the year. He was replaced with Logan York from the Lights division. Hadn't heard from Tanker in the Regional Pro Cup Series ever since. However, now he is out front at Daytona, and Alex Tanker may be kind of a quiet figure on track. We don't really see much of him. He does have success at the Super Speedways. He is a winner at Talladega in the UticaHomeTrackSeries way back in the day, so he knows his stuff when it comes to Super Speedway racing, and that was a perfect move to the inside line. Almost unbelievable, because he had almost no draft to be able to make that move, but he still managed to make it work. I'm not sure if he was still riding a little bit of speed from exiting the corner, or he was able to get a little bit off the 49, or maybe even the 39 was able to get a little bit behind him, be able to get it done. But car number 08 is out front now, and he's kind of commanding both lines. Cody Hagan's trying to perform that same strategy, but I'm a little worried about Alex Tanker because he's getting a bit ahead of this group. You don't want to get too much of a distance on your competitors, because then they'll just blow past you with the draft. If they're bumper to bumper and you're by yourself, you're just going to get sucked up in that draft line. But the 08 still holding his own to the outside. William Duncan, the ASDA machine, down to the inside. He got shuffled out of position, but now he's back into a position to strike. And considering that the 08 was able to make it on the inside, William Duncan could have an opportunity to get something like that done as well. We've got about 10 laps to go in this one as they continue down the back straightaway. The railroading that we've mentioned in the first half is still there, but the top two have been able to stay ahead of these guys by holding on to that middle line, which I am surprised is working, because they're not getting the full extent of the draft unless they're picking up a bit of both draft lines. If so, that is a genius strategy that Tanker and Hagen are employing out on the racetrack. Car number 88 in the back, you can see, is still having a hard time keeping up with this draft line. He's actually a little bit further back than before. I'm worried he may fall behind. I think the rule of thumb is that you have to be within about a second of the car ahead of you to get draft off of them. And I'm a little worried that Toledo's, brushing up against that 1 second barrier. And yeah, I think he may have lost him. He's losing a lot of ground quick. Once you fall out of the draft, you just end up losing it entirely. Yeah, he's no longer on frame, so Jeff Toledo may be stuck this time around, unless we have the big one, which has not happened yet. And a couple drivers, especially near the back, have been worrying me a little bit. Daniel Beauchard especially, he's been very aggressive back there, and it's almost kind of funny. Daniel Beauchard has been making all these aggressive dives and passes, but I think he not only hasn't he gained a position, I think he may have lost a couple of positions since his last time we covered him. Yeah, he's kind of running there near the back, only beating about 3 or 4 cars. Just to show you how badly they want this. And Hirose in the 76 has actually picked it up a little bit. It's worked their way up around 20th position on that outside line, if I'm not mistaken. But near the front, it's become a 3-car spectacle as they ride the middle line. William Duncan slingshotting to the inside of Cody Hagen. Can William Duncan make the pass complete? He's got a bit of a draft from Nathan Ormond, but you have Grayson Acevedo to the outside, and William Duncan gets it done. He's up to 2nd place. He's picked off the 49. Can he pick off the 08 machine and steal the lead back? Duncan's led the most laps so far, but Tanker's been logging laps this time without any challenge. Remember, Duncan was splitting all those laps led with Cody Hagen. Tanker has led straight since lap 16. Tanker is still hanging out near the front, and yeah, I just glanced near the back. I haven't even seen Jeff Toledo over there. He is way behind these lead cars. A couple other cars starting to lose some ground there. There's Emmanuel Hartnett and Brandon Jeffries near the back. John Arndt, car number 43, making a move to the inside of Colin Bartel. He's going to try and make a pass. He's going to make it 3 wide. That's just outside the top 5. That's a battle for 6th place. 3 wide for 6th place. He's got a little bit of steam from Jerry Lespool in the 01 85 machine of Larson right behind him. But it looks like they're trying to throw the block out near the front. There's the 77 of DJ Curtis trying to make it happen. Not going to work. Nathan Ormond, is he going to try and join that draft line? Is he going to be able to hold him off, or will he lose some ground? They're pretty quick on the inside line, that 3-car tandem. Down low. Can Ormond's trying to take a little bit of their draft line to help him by Cody Hagen. He's not getting the full extent of it, though, because he wants to hold off the middle line, too. Those drivers in the back need to decide who they're going to go with. There's 4 cars in the inside, 3 cars in the middle. Well, I think that may have answered it. Or maybe not. I don't know. They're really dicing. They're not sure. Ben Stevens is kind of the deciding factor of who he's going to go with. And it looks like he's going to head to the inside line. We're running about 5 laps to go. Things are getting dicey. Now's the time to work your way to the front. If you can't work your way up there, you may be too late. And it looks like that started to break apart there. The John Arndt maneuver. Him leading that group underneath. Seems to have broken apart. Arndt's going to slide up to the outside line and join Nathan Ormond and Grayson Acevedo to try and get around the outside of the 49 of Hagen. Darren Blake is still there. Can Darren Blake be a surprise? As he's trying to work his way to the front. But still out front, Alex Tanker in the 08. I think he surpassed Duncan's laps led. As I think Duncan has led 9 laps up to this point. Tanker's starting to pull ahead on that front. Tanker in the lead. Duncan second. Acevedo in the 68. Led the first lap of the race. Dropped back and has been running about 5th place for the majority of this one. He's now going to pull under the 66. Can he get the pass done? The 66 has no draft until you get to Nathan Ormond, who's a couple car lengths behind. Cody Hagen's going to give him the push, and that's going to be Acevedo to 2nd place. Or maybe not. Here comes Hagan. He's down low. He's got Darren Blake for help. As they're battling. Colin Bartel, I see in the 949, is slipped down the middle. He's basically done for this one, unless he can work his way back up there. 3-wide battle for third place as Jerry Lespool. Where did he come from? The four-wheel parts machine is going to work his way up toward the front. He's making a pass for second. Can Lespool out of the United Kingdom, a newcomer, take it here today? Lap 29 of 30 we're on. Just 2 laps to go. And look at that on the inside line. Drivers we haven't even mentioned all day. That's Joseph Curtis in the 47. Team A and brother to DJ. There's the 89 machine of Martin Suarez from Peru. Can he pull an upset today in that Sam Brady, the former Sam Brady ride from the Phillips Cup Series? There's Ben Stevens. Ben Stevens, we said, could decide the fates of a lot of drivers, and now I think he's deciding his own fate. He's working his way around the field. Final lap. We have a report of a car on pit road. That's Emmanuel Hartnett in the 902. He apparently has a cut tire. I'm not sure what happened with him, but that's going to be a real shame for the 902 machine. Coming down, final lap. Anyone can win it up here, except for a couple of drivers that have fallen behind. I see Brandon Jefferson's lost the pack. Jerry Lespool in the 01. Can he catch up? There's a bit of a gap. Can any of these drivers capitalize? Alex Tanker out front. He's commanded the second half of this race. No one's been able to challenge him. Cody Hagan right behind the 01. He's going to try and pass to the inside line. That's going to seal the deal. Alex Tanker wins here at Daytona. What a story. Alex Tanker ran a couple races in Season 1. Performed pretty poorly. Ended up losing the ride in favor of Logan York. Was gone for Season 2. It has returned once again for Season 3 and wins here at Daytona. Congratulations to Alex Tanker, driver representing Iceland this season, on a historic victory here today, and a lot of solid runs for drivers near the tail end of that race. Things got really shuffled. Let's take a look at those finishing results. Alex Tanker was your race winner and led the most laps. Jerry Lespool, great job by him in the 01. He's followed by Cody Hagan, Joseph Curtis, and Grayson Acevedo. Martin Suarez out of Peru, 6th place overall, followed by William Duncan, who felt he deserved a little better. Ben Stevens, Darren Blake, and LJ Toledo round out the top 10. We did not mention LJ Toledo all day, just his brother. Nathan Orman drops out of the top 10 near the end. Matt Dool in the 82. John Arndt, his late race charge didn't work. Larson, Curtis, Beauchard managed to finish 16th at the tail end of it. Baranowskis, Bartel, Gambit, and Navarro. Navarro and Gambit were your front row. They're going to finish just inside the top 20. Bartel lost a lot of ground late in the going. Rena Hirose, Mitch Bretz, William Brock, Scott Roush, Julian D'Artagnan Jr., Eric Powers, Sean Angel, and what will be his only start of the season, round out the field. Then there's Brandon Jefferson, Jeff Toledo, and Emmanuel Hartnett, who either lost the draft or had some issues on track that hurt their finish. At least Jeff Toledo did not finish in last place. That was the race results for today's event. Hartnett was listed as a lap down at the end of it all. Let's take a look at your point standings. They're not too much different from your finishing results, except there are some ties on track. Alex Tanker, 1 win this year. He's had 32 points for leading the most laps as well. Then Lespool, Hagan, Curtis, Acevedo, Suarez, Duncan, Stevens, Blake, and Toledo. There's a couple ties in there because of laps led bonus. Lespool and Hagan are tied, Curtis and Acevedo are tied, and Suarez and Duncan are also tied. Thank you for watching this race of the DASCAR Regional Pro Cup Series. Check out the Daytona 500 for the Phillips Cup Series, and we will see you next time at the South Boston Speedway. Until then, see you next time.